Season 3 of Star Wars The Bad Batch is streaming now on Disney+. Should you watch it on date night or with your family?
Stay tuned to find out.
Hello and welcome to Couple Chat.
Where we
Parents.
discuss topics for you.
Parents. I'm Matt.
I'm Jackie. Let's chat. We are in the midst of a season of Bad Batch. How do you feel?
It's interesting so far.
Yeah.
It's not just a season of Bad Batch. It's the final season of Bad Batch.
It is the final. Oh.
Yeah.
That makes me sad. I really like this group of misfits, you know?
I do too, but the show's kind of all over the place, and I could understand like maybe it doesn't have the following that Disney was hoping. So that's why they're like kind of trying to resolve it now.
I feel like Rebels and Clone Wars had the same problem though. It's just let's get those 7 seasons in, guys. Like, come on, let's just do it.
Yeah. Well, Clone Wars was very spotty. You
Yeah.
know, it was canceled so many different times and picked up in lots of different places. I think first when it was on Cartoon Network, it was canceled. After season 5 was when Ahsoka left the Jedi Order. And then it was picked up on Netflix. They gave them a season and then it was canceled again until Disney+.
Jeez.
So, yeah, I mean, that show, I don't understand why it was like that because it was phenomenal. you
Yeah.
know? Took me a while to get into it, but I mean, once I did, there was no turning back, and I'm happy that I finally did watch that.
Yeah. But we digress because we've already spoken about that.
Have we?
Oh, yes.
Maybe in the old days of Couple Chat, but not here in podcast land.
I'm pretty sure we did recently, but
If you say
okay,
so.
that's fine.
I'm the one that does the editing, so
I think it was one of our early episodes, but
one of
our audience
you know what?
members can fact check us.
You're right, because we talked about Ahsoka.
Right.
So we have talked about Clone Wars and Rebels. But I mean, that's the point of all these shows, right? They're all interconnected. And now they're kind of spilling into the movies because they're making a Mandalorian movie. Like,
So excited.
yeah, if we're talking about a big reveal, that's definitely it. So.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what they're doing. You know, it's kind of like this multiversal thing, like some other universes out there. But
Owned by Disney.
yeah. But Mandalorian is bringing all these storylines together in a film, you know?
Yeah.
And we don't know how Bad Batch is going to end, but there are lots of theories, and I've got my own, you've got your own. But really, the first thing we should get out of the way is this show right for your family or for a date night? Since we did ask the question. And I have very strong feelings on it. How about you?
So I think I do too. With Bad Batch, it ebbs and flows. There are certain times where I'm like, yeah, this is totally fine for a family. Like, what isn't violent about Star Wars? You know, war
Right.
is in the name of the show.
Right.
Totally makes sense. And then there's other moments I'm just like, oh my gosh, this person was kidnapped. And is being tortured or is being held captive. And it's like, do I want my child to see that? I don't really know
Yeah.
how I feel about that. Or would they even understand it? But like, I understand it and I wonder what it's doing to their mind. So honestly, I feel like maybe if they're older, like in their teen years or
100%.
somewhere around there, because I feel like at that point, you can kind of like talk to them about it more so like, yes, this is in a fantasy setting, but if this were ever to happen to you, such and such and such, or like just kind of be able to bring up that kind of conversation, I feel like would be easier to manage with an older child who had a bit more understanding
Yeah.
of what's going on. I feel like if it was a child who's seemingly Omega's age or younger, would not fare well with this show, in my opinion.
I mean, I don't know exactly how old Omega is because she's a clone.
Sure.
And I mean, their ages are very different. I think she ages at the correct speed. So, I mean, I don't know. She seems like she's like 12, 13 maybe. So I would say that is about the right age to watch this show.
Sure.
in my opinion. So my side of this whole thing is I totally agree with you. It all depends on the episode, but it's not so much the content as much as it's the tone of the show.
Right.
Especially like we just started season 3 and right off the bat, it is honestly, I feel like the darkest Star Wars has ever been. And that's so hard to say because there's a lot of Star Wars now, and there are parts of it that are pretty dark. You know, I mean, this goes all the way back to George Lucas fighting for Revenge of the Sith to have a PG rating, and they just wouldn't give it to him, probably because Anakin kills younglings. But I mean, that bleeds right into Clone Wars and Rebels. Rebels it's funny. When they made that show, you could tell that they pulled back a bit on the violence and the tone. It was way more cartoony than Clone Wars. And, you know, you could get away with showing a kid that and them, you know, the deeper storylines going over their head. Yeah. But Bad Batch is more in line with Clone Wars and at times much darker, I find. And yeah, I just think it's mostly the tone that I feel like would be unsettling for a child. Yeah. And, you know, just watching the first episode of this 3-part premiere, I mean, Omega is in a really dark setting. She's dealing with a lot of terrible things that she doesn't even completely understand. And from the music to the lighting to the way characters are composed in shots, it's very dark. Yeah. It really is. And I love it.
Oh, yeah. It's great Star Wars content. I mean, it may not be a date night for some of you because you may not be in that stage of your relationship yet, but...
What do you mean? You're first going out with a guy and you don't want to sit around and watch a cartoon?
No.
Or Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein?
Nope. I can vouch for that one.
Hey, man, if any of you know us, my first ditch attempt at a date was inviting Jackie over in college to watch Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein. And she knew what she was getting into.
I tried, but I had no idea what I was getting into. I never
in
heard
the movie
of it. I knew Abbott and Costello.
Guy?
Both. I knew Abbott and Costello, obviously, just because of Who's on First. But I didn't understand the vast filmography that they had under their belt. Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein was a blast. Couldn't even tell you what happened. I think they met a monster. Who knows?
Anyway, so yeah, obviously it's just our shtick to say, you know, is this right for family or date night? But really what we mean is this right to watch with your family or just with your significant other, you know? Yeah. And Bad Batch is a cartoon, but honestly, don't bat your eyes at it. It's worth it. If you're a Star Wars fan and you're looking for that itch right now, I mean, it scratches it.
Yeah. Is that why you paused?
What?
You're so funny.
Yeah, I wanted to see your reaction though. But it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Wow.
It itches it. No, it does. I really do like the show. I think so. I think the writing has a bit of a hard time like setting up the storyline, but once it hits, it's there. It's just there are a lot of filler episodes, like any show that has like 15 episode seasons. It's going to have some filler.
Especially cartoons. I just feel like they do that more often where it's like,
I don't know why.
Oh, you know, let's do these serialized episodes that like don't really matter. Maybe it helps with character development and like strengthening that core group. But ultimately, like, some of the storylines are just like, oh, okay. And one thing, and you tell me if you agree with this, but one thing that annoys me about Bad Batch, and I don't know really yet for season 3 because we haven't gotten that deep into it.
Right.
But one thing that's annoyed me about this show so far is they repeat the same thing over and over again. They go out on a mission. The mission fails. They have to pick up the pieces, and this team gets separated. And then somehow they figure out a way to get back together and complete the mission. But then when they get home, the mission isn't what they expected it to be, and they don't make the money they were supposed to. Well, back out to doing another mission. Like, it's always the same thing.
Yeah. And this Sid character who, like, here's your envelope.
Yeah.
Do this challenge if you accept it. It's
right.
All right, please.
Yeah.
And like, they're never given all the details about the thing that they're going to do. It's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Can we just not do the typical, like, episodic, like, pretending like we weren't in a thing the last episode? It's like,
you're right.
What?
And then when they get into a story arc, though, because all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, this didn't complete. So they're obviously going to go on with this in the next episode or whatever. Yeah. But I just thought of something. So the best comparison that I can think of for this is its Star Wars version of Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. They're out in space. They're trying to get some money. Something goes awry. They lose the money, or they don't have as much money at the end.
Right.
They get to eat that time.
And it's a ragtag group of, mercenaries, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just very similar. And then Ed, Omega, I don't know. The only thing they don't have going for them right now is a dog character.
Yeah.
There's no Ein.
No.
As far as not really.
No, there's no Ein.
But yeah, so ultimately, watch it with your significant other unless you have older kids. But, just a few things to talk about with this show. I don't know about you, but they're definitely leading up to this being connected to the sequels. I think, unfortunately, all these shows are leading up to that.
Yeah.
It's just where Star Wars goes now. And I have very strong feelings about these sequels, mostly hot garbage. But they're trying to set up a backbone for it.
Yeah, well, it had 30-year gap. So let's fill in that 30-year gap with a bunch of stuff.
Right. But this isn't even there. This is the 19-year gap between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope still. They're still trying to fill that gap with stuff,
No, I know.
If anything, so that's another thing that I'm really hoping they resolve in this season is the whole Caleb Doom, Hera Syndulla storylines, because they touched on that so much in the first season and then nothing since. Yeah. I was pretty disappointed that they never came back to that, Yeah.
I don't know if it was like highly receptive or not, because it's one of those things too where she was also in Ahsoka. So it's like
she is, but that's a completely different part of her life. We're seeing her after Rebels, where this is before. I'd love to see. I was really hoping to see both characters come together in this series at some point.
Yeah.
It'd be an interesting storyline to touch upon. And I mean, they still have time to do it. I'm just saying, like, where were they in season 2? They couldn't toss them in there for an episode, It's
so funny because these Star Wars stories are always like, in a galaxy far, far away where you could travel from planet to planet and do all these crazy things. It's like, how would they run into these people that we already know from this universe or galaxy? Jackie. Like, why are we only writing about the same 7 planets and nowhere else? And I can't. It's a little too simple for me.
I think Bad Batch helps expand on that, though, because they literally are this random misfit group that, why do they need their own show? Well, they need their own show because we need more diversity in Star Wars. And I'm not talking about race or religion or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, in characters.
Yeah.
How many Jedi do we need to follow? How many bounty hunters do we need to follow? Like, these guys have their own unique storyline, and I think a lot of people have become attached to clones thanks to Clone Wars.
Yeah,
they really humanized clones, and what an amazing thing that Dave Filoni and George Lucas accomplished. Like, being able to humanize literally a person that has been replicated,
right?
And lucky to Tamura Morrison, who is now just playing a bunch of different versions of himself in live action. Like, I don't know if he ever expected this to happen, but like, man, if he only knew back in like 2002 when he played Jango Fett what he'd be doing.
I just love how he can play so many different characters and different soldiers that have been affected by this war that they were involved in, and kind of just like the origin of where he came from and then all those clones after the fact.
Right. But Tamura Morrison is only just touching upon that now in the last few years, whereas D. Bradley Baker, the voice actor behind the clones in all these shows, I mean, he's the one that really humanized them thanks to Clone Wars and all the storylines that they wrote, like just all the things that he did. Like I just think of the Umbara storyline, and that was one of the first ones that I showed you, but that storyline in itself is just like a masterpiece when it comes to clones and just what they were able to accomplish, you know, just a kind of a racist Jedi, just pitting them all against each other, and Rex just goes through the ringer in those 4 episodes. It's amazing what they were able to do with these characters. And this show is a testament to that too. Cause now again, D. Bradley Baker is he's playing every freaking character in this show, except the women pretty much. And you know, you have Hemlock and some of the villains, but like he plays the whole Bad Batch, you know?
Right.
And they're all different.
Yeah. Every last one. Like you can tell which one's which just by hearing the voice. Like you don't even have to pay attention, and like, you know, the difference. Right. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to be able to, as an actor, to even like idolize another actor and what they're doing, and just being able to see that work come to fruition and be on screen, and just, it's phenomenal. Kudos, man, because that is a lot of hard work to voice act, let alone voice act for, like, you're acting with yourself. Right. But like, how do you stay in the voice? Like, how do you go from Wrecker to Hunter to Tech to... Yeah. I mean, Tech, I feel like, is like the simplest of all of them, just because his is very like, I'm going to do this. And it's very like to the point.
But I'm sure it's not. Like that in itself might be more complicated, because he's been playing this normal like clone voice for how long? Like that's probably like a piece of cake for him now, you know, because he's played how many different characters that have that voice. Bad Batch is different. He's got to now take a twist on all these clones. True. And make up different voices, but they still have to be clones. So they have to sound a little bit like how Tamura Morrison's original Jango Fett sounds, you know, but like with a twist. I don't know. It's really cool that he was able to accomplish this. And I mean, this dude's got his own show now. Like he must be happy, but also like super stressed. Like I just imagine like they should really do like some behind the scenes where like he's in the sound booth, just like, Hunter, how you doing? What's up, Rekka? You know, like just like back and forth. Like, does he do that, or does he like read each person's lines and then, you know, they cut them together? That's probably what they do. But
I feel like what he does is he reads each character's lines. But I mean, voice acting can take hours, hundreds of hours. I mean, that's why certain films take so long to come out.
Yeah. And then a show, you know?
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
But it's pretty impressive, and I really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you are fans of Star Wars and you are looking for that itch right now, as I said, just choose your family wisely. If you're going to watch it with older kids in your house. If you have some younger kids, they probably should sit this show out. But it's a good time. And I mean, there's some crazy stuff going to happen this season. They're really bringing in the Clone Wars and Rebels characters, I think. You know, man, I'm so excited for one character very specifically that they revealed in the trailers, Asajj Ventress.
He literally jumped up and down. Yeah, it was so cute. I love when he does that, because like when Matt gets excited, you know something serious is going down.
For this nerdy pop culture stuff, sure.
It is though. Like it's so cute. I love it.
You're silly.
I try.
But yeah, I mean, we haven't seen her since like season 5 of Clone Wars.
I know.
Like, it's insane. They have a lot of ground to cover with her, so I'm excited to see what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And I really, really cross my fingers that they're bridging the gap for her to be in Ahsoka. Because the Night Sisters are there. I kind of have a feeling that that season 2 is going to introduce her in that show, unless something happens to her in Bad Batch, which I don't think they're going to do.
Who would play her live action? Like who? Like I can't even imagine.
Putting it out there to the peeps out there, who would play Asajj Ventress if she finally appears in live action? Most likely, I'm theorist here, most likely in season 2 of Ahsoka.
But she's got to shave her head. I don't care who is cast.
Oh, for real?
They better shave their head.
Yeah.
Because it's just, a bald cap just doesn't do it.
Yeah. It's different though, because Asajj is an alien, so it's not like...
I don't mind.
Yeah.
You're going to shave your head.
Well, actually, if you've seen in Bad Batch, she has hair now.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
But if they do flashbacks, or if if it were like old Asajj, like...
Yeah. Ahsoka did do some flashbacks, but it was, kind of like a dream state.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who knows? But anyway, really quick. So I just want to spit off a couple of theories about this show and where it might go, and then we will sign off. But 2 theories where you see Bad Batch going. I'll do one, you do one. Like 2 each.
Yeah.
All right, so you go first with your first one.
I definitely see Omega kicking the butt or kicking the bucket. What's the word? Biting the bullet.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely see Omega
really
passing away.
Why?
Because I feel like she is the catalyst to what's to come. And I feel like that would be the thing to break the batch. Like, and no matter what they do, she will die.
Damn. Talk about not with your family.
Again, dark.
Yeah. Well, to jump off from that then, I have a feeling that obviously what Hemlock and everyone is doing in this new cloning facility is going towards Palpatine creating clones of himself and Snoke and everything that leads to Rise of Skywalker. And this all has a connection in Mandalorian too, because they're doing cloning in that as well.
Right.
They haven't revealed it yet, and it kind of seems like Bad Batch is getting there since Palpatine is in the show and he's made appearances before. But I mean, I think this is the time, and I think that also has something to do with Omega and why she's so important. And as you said, I don't know if she's going to make it out of this, but her blood and her specific genetics have something to do with Palpatine. 100%. That's what I think.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. What else you got?
I mean, I think someone that's dead is not dead.
Nah, that was going to be my other one, so we can just make this the same.
A dual same.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you know how they like kill people off camera, but they don't really show you they killed someone off because they didn't actually kill that person off.
Just because they fall into the abyss.
Cloudy abyss.
Yeah.
Like it was clouds. Like you didn't see him like fall to the ground and go boo. Like it was into clouds. Like
ready on the count of 3. 3, 2, 1. Tech.
I'm not gonna say the name.
Why? Who cares? The season 2's been over.
All right. I was just I believe that Tech is alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
They're gonna do this BS where all of a sudden he just shows up out of the blue and he's like, "Yes, Omega, I'm here to save you," or something like that.
I don't know if it's gonna go that far because they're not on the same planet. So like, how would he get there?
Tech. Like, that's his thing.
I know Tech is like tech, but like that doesn't mean that he's can
the
get
IT
to
guy.
Another planet.
I just want once, if he does reappear, him at some point be like, "Have you tried turning it off and on again?"
Oh my gosh, I had a client say that to me today.
Did you?
I literally was like, yeah, sometimes the browser just needs to like clear the cache. And, sometimes it's like our phones, we need to turn it off and back on. And she goes, yeah, did you try turning it off and on again? And I was like, I love that
But she
show.
said it like Richard Ayoade?
Yes. And I was
that's pretty
like,
funny.
oh, you're my...
Yeah.
Oh, You're my spirit animal today.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, go check out IT Crowd.
Yes. Not for kids, but really funny.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Bad Batch season 3, it's out now. Streaming every Wednesday, I want to say. Hey, today's Wednesday in Couple Chat World, but it's actually not Wednesday while we're recording this.
No.
But yeah, go watch it, Star Wars fans. I'm Matt.
I'm Jackie.
Here are the Hahns signing out.
Thank you so much for listening to Couple Chat. Make sure to subscribe to us on Spotify or YouTube Music, and check out our YouTube page to see this episode in video. Thank you to Han Films for editing and producing this episode. Talk to you soon.